There is something inside your home that may be working against you at this exact moment. It is not a person, it is not a situation, it is a plant. And the most disturbing part is not what it does when it is in the wrong place. The most disturbing part is that most people who make this mistake will never find out why. They will spend years wondering why things do not flow, why money disappears, why the house feels heavy, why exhaustion never goes away even after a full night of sleep. The snake plant, known in spiritual traditions as the sword of St. George, is one of the most energetically powerful plants that exist. It carries in every leaf an ancestral force of protection, purification, and attraction of abundance. Ancient civilizations already knew this. Energy masters, Eastern geomancers, guardians of traditions that barely exist anymore. All of them recognized in this plant something that goes far beyond botany. But there is a secret that almost nobody tells you. Its power is not automatic. Its power depends completely on where you place it. And if it is in the wrong place, everything it should attract into your life, it begins to repel. Protection becomes vulnerability. Abundance becomes scarcity. Peace becomes constant tension. Today, I am going to show you the 5 places where you should never put this plant. And at the end, I will reveal the one place where its power multiplies and truly begins to work in your favor. Click subscribe now and turn on the notification bell. And let us begin. I am going to start with the most silent mistake, the one that destroys the most without making any noise. Many people place the snake plant in the bedroom, sometimes in the corner near the window, sometimes beside the bed, and they do this with good intention, thinking that powerful energy will protect their sleep, purify the air, create a shield while they rest. But exactly the opposite happens. The bedroom is the most intimate space of your existence. It is where your body stops, where your mind surrenders, where consciousness dissolves, and something deeper in you tries to recover from everything the world imposed during the waking hours. That space asks for stillness, for a receptive and gentle energy that welcomes without demanding. The snake plant does not have that nature. It is a plant of battle. It was named in honor of a warrior for a reason. The energy it emanates is constant, vigilant, in a permanent state of alert. It transmutes, it confronts, it activates the energetic field around it. When you place that force in the environment where you try to rest, your nervous system perceives it, not with your eyes, with something older than eyes. The body feels it is in a field of tension and cannot sink into true rest. The result shows up in ways you may already recognize: light sleep, waking in the middle of the night for no apparent reason, agitated dreams that leave a heaviness the next morning, the feeling of waking up tired even after hours in bed, and a subtle irritability that starts early in the day and never has a clear cause. But there is something even deeper happening when the plant is in the bedroom. When rest is chronically compromised, your capacity to perceive the world begins to deteriorate. You start seeing threats where there are opportunities, feeling distance from people who want your closeness, and decisions that should be simple become heavy and confusing. If you have a partner, the plant in the bedroom also acts on that bond. Its energy creates an invisible field of tension that begins to erode intimacy, not with explosive arguments, but with coldness, with heavy silence, with the feeling that there is a veil separating two bodies that should be close. And if you are alone right now, that energy in the bedroom closes the field around you to new arrivals. The love that could come finds a barrier you did not ask to put there, but placed there without knowing. The solution is simple and immediate. Remove the plant from the bedroom today, if you can, not tomorrow. That single gesture already begins to restore the field of rest and receptivity that the bedroom needs to fulfill the function that only it can fulfill in your life. The second forbidden place is the kitchen area or the dining table, and I understand the logic of those who place the plant there. We want life, we want green, we want the space where the family gathers to have something alive breathing alongside us. But there is an energetic intelligence in these spaces that needs to be respected. The kitchen, in practically every tradition that studies the energy of environments, is the heart of the home's prosperity. This is not a metaphor, it is ancestral observation. The fire that transforms raw food into sustenance, the act of preparing what will nourish the bodies of your family, all of this is an energetic operation that goes far beyond the physical. The dining table, in turn, is the altar of union. It is the place where people stop, sit, look at each other, and share something essential. When that ritual happens in harmony, it strengthens the invisible bonds that sustain a family. The snake plant, with its dominant and transmuting energy, enters into direct conflict with the nature of these two spaces. What begins to happen is subtle but progressive. The money that comes in seems not to stay. Unexpected expenses appear, something breaks, something expires, something shows up in an unexpected way and takes away what had been earned. And no matter how much you work, the feeling is that there is an invisible hole through which everything drains. At mealtimes, tension settles in a way that seems to have no explanation. Conversations that should be light become stages for misunderstandings. Words come out sharper than they should, and over time, family members begin to avoid sitting together, each one eating in their own corner, at their own time, in separate silence. That disconnection is serious because the family that does not share the table begins to disconnect at deeper layers too. There is also an effect on the body itself. When the energy of the place where you eat is disturbed, your relationship with food changes. You may begin to eat without pleasure, without noticing flavors, without feeling truly nourished. It is as if the food reaches the body but does not reach the soul. If your plant is in that space, move it with care, with intention, with the awareness that you are reestablishing the flow of prosperity in your home. That practical gesture of moving the plant is also a spiritual gesture. You are telling the field around you that you recognize the laws of energy and are willing to respect them. And when you respect those laws, they begin to work in your favor instead of against you. The third mistake is perhaps the most dangerous of all because it seems completely harmless. Many people place the snake plant in dark corners of the house, in windowless hallways, behind doors, in forgotten spaces where natural light does not reach and air does not circulate. The reasoning seems reasonable. The plant is resilient, survives with little light, requires little care. But those spaces are not just dark in the physical sense. In every tradition that studies the energy of environments, forgotten corners, places without light and without air movement are points of energetic stagnation. Energy, just like water, needs to flow to stay alive. When it stops, when it gets trapped in a corner with no way out, it rots. And everything that rots emits something dense and heavy that contaminates what is around it. These corners accumulate the emotional residue of the home, arguments that were not resolved, sorrows that were swallowed, fears that were never named. All of that deposits in the spaces that nobody looks at. When you place the snake plant in a place like that, even though it is a plant of extraordinary strength, what happens is not purification, it is the opposite. It begins to absorb all that stagnant charge, and without light, without flow, without the minimum conditions to transmute it, it becomes a repository of everything that is heavy, a magnet for negativity installed inside your home. And that weight does not stay contained in the corner. It expands. It starts with a feeling, a sadness without a clear cause, a lack of motivation that appears even on days when everything should be fine, a melancholy you cannot name, cannot explain to anyone, that is simply there when you wake up and still there when you go to sleep. Over time, that energy begins to affect your choices. Mental clarity decreases, opportunities pass, but you cannot seize them because something inside you is too heavy to move, and the plant itself begins to get sick. Leaves turn yellow, vitality fades. A dying plant inside your home is one of the most energetically charged signs that can exist in a household. It communicates to the field around it that here things do not flourish. If you have a snake plant hidden in a dark corner, rescue it now, with intention, with the conscious gesture of someone returning life to something that was abandoned. The fourth mistake is one that few people consider, placing the snake plant in the bathroom. And just like dark corners, the logic seems to make sense. The bathroom often has humidity, has some light, has available space, but the bathroom is energetically one of the most complex spaces in the home, and placing a plant of protection and attraction of abundance there is like trying to light a candle in a place where the wind never stops. The bathroom is by nature a space of discharge. It is where the body eliminates what it no longer needs, where what was used goes away, where water constantly flows toward the drain. That discharge nature is necessary and healthy for the function the bathroom fulfills, but it is completely incompatible with the function the snake plant was made to exercise. Everything it tries to build in terms of protection and attraction of prosperity is continuously drained by the discharge energy that permeates that space. The practical result is that the plant not only loses its power, it begins to work in reverse. Instead of attracting, it drains. Instead of protecting, it exposes. Instead of strengthening the energetic field of the home, it creates a constant leak of vital energy that you feel as unexplainable exhaustion as the feeling that no matter how much you do it is never enough. There is also a practical aspect that reinforces the spiritual in this case. The bathroom has extreme variations in temperature and humidity that stress the plant in ways invisible to the human eye, but that compromise its vitality and consequently its capacity to fulfill any energetic function. A stressed plant is a plant that has no energy left to offer. It is too busy trying to survive to be able to protect. And a plant that is struggling to survive in the bathroom is energetically equivalent to an exhausted guardian at the door of your home, physically present but without the strength to fulfill its mission. Move the plant from the bathroom with the same urgency you would move it from the bedroom. That space has its own energetic function that needs to be respected. And the snake plant deserves a place where it can work at full capacity, not a place that drains everything it tries to offer. The fifth mistake is probably the most modern and the least discussed in ancestral traditions, but one that contemporary wisdom, recognizing the connection between the old and the new, identifies as equally important. Placing the snake plant directly next to televisions, internet routers, computers, or any concentration of electronic devices creates an energetic conflict that deeply compromises the work the plant should be doing. Electronic devices emit constant electromagnetic fields. This is documented physics, not speculative spirituality. These fields create a frequency around the objects that is fundamentally different from and conflicting with the natural frequency that a living plant emits. It is like placing two musical instruments playing in completely different keys in the same space. The result is not harmony, it is noise. And in that energetic noise, the snake plant's capacity to transmit its protective and attractive frequency is completely compromised. The plant is there physically, but energetically, it is being neutralized by the constant interference of the fields around it. What you observe in practice is that the plant near electronics tends to deteriorate more quickly, leaves that yellow for no apparent reason, growth that stops, a vitality that progressively diminishes even with adequate watering and care. There is also an effect on the environment itself where the electronics are. These areas already tend to have a more agitated and dispersed quality of energy. They are spaces of information consumption, constant stimulation, fragmented attention. Placing the snake plant in that environment does not calm that agitation. It mixes with it, and the result is a plant that cannot fulfill its function and an environment that remains fragmented without the anchor of calm and protection the plant could offer in a suitable place. The solution is simple. Keep the plant at least 3 feet away from any significant concentration of electronic devices. That separation space is not arbitrary. It is the minimum space necessary for the two fields not to interfere with each other and for the plant to emit its natural frequency without distortion. Now, I am going to tell you what the oldest teachings about the energy of the home guard as one of the simplest and most powerful secrets, The snake plant belongs at the entrance of your home. It is not a coincidence that this plant carries the name of a warrior and guardian. It was made to stand at the border, to stand at the threshold between the outside world and your inner sanctuary. The front door of your home is much more than a physical structure. It is the portal through which everything passes, the good and the bad, what you invite, and what tries to enter without being called. Every person who crosses that threshold brings with them an energetic field, brings what they lived that day, what they carry within themselves, what they project around them. When the snake plant is positioned near the entrance, it acts as a living filter. You arrive home from work carrying the tension of a difficult day, the energy of people you did not choose to be around, the weight of conversations that cost you something. Before all of that enters and deposits itself inside your home, in the energy of your family, in the environments where you rest and live, the plant does its job. It transmutes, it neutralizes, it returns to you as you cross the door something closer to your natural frequency. And for those who enter with intentions that are not pure, with envy in their eyes, with thoughts that do not wish you well, the plant forms a silent and effective shield, like a guardian who does not need to shout to be respected. But the snake plant at the entrance is not only protection, it is also attraction. When you establish that guardian at the threshold of your home, you are placing a living symbol that tells the universe that here there is order, here there is intention, here energies are honored. And the universe responds to that language with opportunities, with flow, with that feeling that things begin to fall into place in ways you cannot explain rationally, but feel with clarity. People who repositioned their plant to the entrance report changes that seem small at first. The house felt lighter, sleep improved, an important conversation happened unexpectedly, an opportunity appeared. And after a while, they look back and realize that something truly changed, that there is a clear dividing line between the before and the after. Take care of your plant with simplicity. It does not ask for much. Water moderately once or twice a month. Indirect natural light is enough. If you feel like it, talk to it, thank it. The oldest traditions always knew that plants respond to human intention. If the layout of your home does not allow you to place it exactly at the entrance, put it as close as possible to the main door, in a place with brightness where it can, in some way, watch over everything that enters. You made it here, and that is not a coincidence. The people who receive this kind of teaching are generally the ones who are already, even without knowing it, in a process of internal reorganization. They are tired of patterns that repeat themselves, ready to see layers of reality that were previously invisible. The snake plant was never just a decorative plant. It is a living being with its own energetic intelligence. And when you treat it with respect and position it with awareness, it becomes a genuine ally in your journey. Remember what you learned today: never in the bedroom, because it disturbs rest and erodes what is most intimate. Never in the kitchen or at the dining table, because it blocks the flow of prosperity and undoes the harmony between the people you love. Never in dark corners, because there it transforms into what it should be fighting. Never in the bathroom, because that space drains everything it tries to build. Never near electronics, because the interference completely neutralizes the power it carries. And always, always near the entrance, like a guardian that never sleeps, never fails, that works in silence for your peace and your abundance. If you repositioned your plant today or are about to do it now, know that this is a concrete gesture of care for the energetic field of your life. Do not underestimate the power of a simple gesture made with true intention. The greatest transformations I have witnessed in people's lives began with something small: an object moved from one place, a decision made in silence, a change that nobody saw but that the field around it felt immediately. Before you go, tell me in the comments where your plant was, not because I will judge you, but because when you write that here, you are doing something much more powerful than it seems. You are naming what was wrong, and naming is the first act of transformation. There are people who will read your comment tomorrow, a week from now, a year from now, and maybe it will be exactly what they needed to see to make the decision they had been putting off. Share this video with someone who has a snake plant at home and who may never have thought about this. Sometimes the greatest gift we can give someone is information that arrives at the right moment. Press the like button if this teaching touched something in you. Click subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because what is coming in the next videos will go even deeper into all of this. May your plant be in the right place, and may the field around your life begin to respond the way you deserve.